All right, so they just deleted the entire video that I was about to post of this information. So y'all are gonna need to pay close attention to the information that I'm about to tell you. It must be very important information for them to tap my phone and erase the video and make me have to re-record the damn video all over again with this information. I started the video off walking from this direction, Southwest Freeway, and this is South Gessner right here. This hotel, Palace Inn, there was a woman that met me on the way back from Atlanta, Georgia. They threatened to rape my child, caused me to lose my apartment out here in Conroe, Texas. Austin was punching holes in my walls, destroying my property. And there was a shooting, and I shot Austin, and it was in self-defense in the leg. And they dropped the charges, but I went to Atlanta, was lured into Atlanta, Georgia. It's a long story. Let me just get into the information about what I feel like they're trying to hide. They were saying that I was not pregnant by Austin in the Montgomery County Jail. My apartment was at 1308 Houston Street. Austin got out of prison, white Caucasian male, convicted felon. He is Cynthia Overa's son. Came into my home attacking me with our son. And I ran from my home with my child, and I shot Austin in the leg in a restaurant where I went for help after asking the man to dial 911. There was a witness involved in the struggle where he was trying to attack my son, and I shot him in the leg after letting off a warning shot. And they tried to murder me in the Montgomery County Jail pregnant. They're trying to lie and say it's a tumor and let me smoke. They threatened to rape my son, my 22-month-old son that I was protecting while I was in the jail. Austin threatened to rape him. Cynthia threatened to rape him. Joseph Overa, Cynthia's husband, threatened to rape my little boy. And the Conroe police threatened to rape my son. And they cut the whole damn video, and it was not even in my phone after they stopped the video. I went back to load it. It wasn't even in my phone anymore. So I said, this is very vital information, and I'm going to stand right here and record it again. And I'm going to post the information, and I got to do it quickly. So I started posting on YouTube about what they were doing to me. They would not let me into the shelters in Houston or Montgomery, Texas, where the shooting occurred after they dropped the charges and caused me to lose my apartment. They held me for 11 months, torturing me pregnant in the jail, denying me medical care, saying that I was not pregnant, and then threatened to rape my child, and went through Judge Tracy Gilbert to say that she could have my child. And so my family member, Barbara Thomas, said that I could come to Arkansas with her, that she would help me and try to set me up to be murdered with Arkansas Police Department. And so I left her location and went to Atlanta to try to get in shelters there, and they set me up to be murdered from the Salvation Army, Rochelle Frazier and Officer Graham at 469 Marietta Street in Salvation Army. I told them that they had abused me in Texas pregnant, and that I came to Atlanta to get in the shelter and put out the evidence. And then they threatened to rape my son, and I told the staff that they threatened my child and that they tortured me, and I had been carrying a baby for 2 years, and I bought a fetal heart monitor, and they put me out of the shelter for posting a baby's fetal heart monitor on my channels, where I had already gotten about 30,000 views on the channel, telling them what they had done and that they were denying me medical care for my pregnancy here in Texas. They put me out of the shelter in Atlanta, Georgia. I've been carrying a baby for 36 months. My name is Andrea Jones, and I said that opening up the video that they erased that my name is Andrea Jones and I am pregnant, been carrying this baby for 36 months, and they erased the video out of my phone, tapping my phone and trying to stop me from telling y'all this information. And so they put me out of the shelter in Atlanta and made me carry the baby for another 6 or 7 months, trafficking me. And God said, you need to get back to Texas, where they threatened to rape your baby, and go to the woman's home because they setting you up to be killed pregnant with this baby on the streets of Atlanta. And I came back out here, and on my way out here, there was a woman that said she was from New Orleans, and she had gotten on a bus with a 6-year-old child, and the woman looked at my belly and said that she could tell that I was pregnant, and asked me how many months was I, and I told her that I did not know because I did not have a doctor. And the reason why was because they were denying that I was pregnant in the Montgomery County Jail, trying to murder me before my trial and threatened to rape my son and let me out of the jail with the baby still alive, and denied me medical care in all of the hospitals here in Texas. And so the woman said that she will allow me to stay, that she was from New Orleans, that she would be in town until Monday. Thursday and Friday was the day of us arriving here in Houston, Texas, because she was on the bus with me and she had a 6-year-old son. And so the woman had tried to leave me at the bus station and not let me come after she offered to let me come. And I told her that I was coming to Texas to come to see my son, and that I needed to come to his grandparents' home to see if my son was all right, to check on my son. She said, okay, well, I thought you were going to go check on your son and just call me so we can meet up. I said, well, I got to make calls before I can go over there. And I said, and I need to get my ID and stuff sent to my sister's home because they stole my ID and all of my records to try to leave me out on the streets. And so the woman said that she would call me, and I said, well, I don't have that much money, and I was not even going to call the woman to help me once I realized she was going to let me leave the bus station and not let me come with her like she had offered. And so like she had offered. And so I told the woman that I only had about $40 to my name, and the woman had said that she asked me to give her the money. I told her that I would be homeless here in Texas and that I didn't have anywhere to go. And she said, oh, no, you're not going to have to be homeless like that. You can come to the room with me. I'll be in town until Monday, and you can stay at the room with me. And I was like, okay, that's cool, because it was going to be raining over the weekend. So I was like, that's fine. She'll just let me stay till Monday. I didn't know her situation about why her and her son were in town and why they would be leaving back out. But I said, that's cool. So I came here. She asked me to give her half of the money for the cab. She said, oh, well, you could just give me some of that money for the cab and ride to the motel with me and stay at my motel with me. And the cab drove us from the Greyhound from this direction here to the Palace Inn, and we pulled in, and she asked for the money, and I gave her $20, and she paid him about $15 for the money and had extracted about $30 from me out of the money and gave me about $10 back and a handful of pennies. But the woman had brought me into this location, and there was a man named Bullet that had met her at the room where she was going into room 124, and her name was Adrian, and my name is Andrea, and her name was Adrian, and she had a 6-year-old little boy, and my little boy is 4 years old that they threatened to rape in Magnolia, Texas. Adrian brought me inside of the room and said I could take a shower, and she left with Bullet and her son, and I took a shower and said that I was in the room and whatever. And so the woman had said I could stay till Monday, but then she had told me, first of all, let me tell you that the woman tried to make sexual advances after I got out of the shower. Her son had laid in one bed, and there were 2 beds in the room, and I laid in the other bed, and then her and Bullet, the woman and the guy Bullet, came and laid in the bed with me. And they started doing sexual stuff and were trying to make sexual advances at me, but I didn't, give in to it. And the man asked me to move into the other bed, so I moved into the bed with her son and fell asleep. And the woman was trying to stop me from, when I was making videos about my son the next day, and while I was there, for the time frame that I was there, she was sending her son outside with xylophones to beat on the xylophones and try to make noise over the information about Cynthia threatening to rape my child. And she was sending her son outside with drums and telling him, hurry up and beat on these drums, even when he didn't want to beat on the drums and make noise outside while I was trying to record information. And then if I was in the room with her, she would make phone calls and hurry and start talking loud while I was making a video over her threatening to molest my son and taking documents out of my home. She took my son's social security and birth certificate out of my home while I was incarcerated for protecting myself from Austin. And then she had threatened to rape my son and went into Judge Tracy Gilbert's courtroom. And so I have to tell this information from outside because people are trying to stop me from telling the information anywhere. And so the woman was telling me, God told me to tell on the woman. And this is what I think they did not want people to know, is that the woman knows that I'm pregnant and what they doing to me out here. And so the woman said that she had talked to the front desk and said that they said that she could extend her time frame here at Palace Inn, and she told me that FEMA was paying for it for her. And then the woman said that, oh, God blessed me because I'm helping you, and I don't want to see a pregnant woman out there like that. I can't stand to see you out there, and I know God just blessed me to be able to have an extension on this room so I can help you, and touching on me and touching on my stomach and asking could she be my baby's godmother and things like that. And so, sorry, this is hard. I gotta have this black and mild, and then they making me have to re-record the information, and they're cutting the video time frame. I was able to record a 40-minute video, but now I can only record a 20-minute video because they're trying to murder me and stop me from telling what's going on. And so the black woman named Adrian, said that FEMA had contacted her and said she could extend the room until the 16th. And then she was saying that she would bless me and let me stay there when she went out of town to New Orleans. And then so I asked her how she had gotten the room, or she told me, she volunteered the information when she said that she said she scammed FEMA out of allowing her to stay here at the Palace Inn. She said that FEMA was allowing people from New Orleans to be able to come here to Texas and get help in hotels because of Hurricane Ida. And she told me that they were saying that if the roof was torn off of her home, that she could get free hotel rooms here in Texas. And then the woman told me that she had lied to FEMA and that they did not go and check and make sure that she was telling the truth about her roof, and said that there was nothing wrong with her roof and that she just lied to FEMA and that her place in New Orleans was still intact, and she was laughing about it. And then had asked me to leave, saying that the people said that I could not stay in the room because my name was not on the room. And God told me to tell on her because God said that Austin destroyed my home, punching holes in my walls in Conroe, Texas. After he was released from prison, he punched volleyball-sized holes in my wall. He kicked the drywall out. He kicked holes through the metal. He tore down light switches. He kicked about 15 holes all and punched holes, 15 holes around my apartment, 2-bedroom apartment where me and my son lived in Conroe, Texas. And they took my baby and threatened to rape him and refused to allow me into any of the shelters and tried to murder the baby in my body. They kept me in the jail for 11 months, torturing me. And God said, because these people did this and they have people from New Orleans coming here and lying about their homes being damaged, and I had actual damages to my home from a white male attacking me, and they're trying to leave me outside as a blood ritual for him and lie and say that I'm not pregnant. And God said, you need to tell. I told the woman that they threatened to molest my baby. I told the woman that they were trying to say that I was not pregnant by him, and God said, that's okay. She's kicking you out of this room that she lied to get. He said, Andrea is going to tell on you. He said, that's okay because Andrea can tell on you. And God told me to report her that she had lied and said that the roof was torn off of her home because it's wrong for them to be setting me up. They won't even allow me into a shelter. And this man tore up my home and ran me from my home with our 22-month-old baby after he got out of prison. And it was my apartment, and I have not had a home since this. And they took me into Montgomery County Jail pregnant and bleeding by him. And they gave my son to Cynthia Austin and his family and threatened to rape him because I shot Austin in the leg and had me in the jail pregnant, trying to murder me. And when I went into labor inside of the jail and my cervix was opening, they were spraying me like a roach with chemicals that were stopping my contractions, and it was putting me to sleep. And they were gassing me in a segregated housing unit and trying to murder me without doing a trial. So God said, you need to tell that she's putting you out of this room because, first of all, I don't know why why God told me to tell the information, but he told me to tell. And with how I'm being set up, so I left, and okay, I'm gonna just tell you the other information they don't want me to tell y'all. So the man Bullet, the night that he was there, because he wasn't staying in the room the whole time, but the night that he was there, I walked to a vending machine. I told Adrian that I was going to go to the vending machine to get a drink the first night here at this Palace Inn on Southwest Freeway. And the man Bullet, Adrian was in the restroom, and the man Bullet said he was going to come with me because I had on shorts, and he said people were crazy. And there was a Hispanic man that did try to follow me to the vending machine when Bullet was walking next to me, and I was glad that Bullet had came with me because the man did follow me to the vending machine. And the Mexicans here threatened to rape my child. Joseph O'Vera, Cynthia's husband, is Hispanic, and he threatened to rape my child. And the Hispanic women in the jail were helping to cover up that they threatened to rape my child and that I was pregnant. They were helping to cover up my pregnancy, the Hispanic women that worked for the medical department. So they cut out all that information on the video that they erased out of my phone after I just had to spend all that time recording it. And there's information that could be missed. So the man Bullet had told me to take his number and said that the girl was leaving town and that she would leave me by myself with nobody. And he said that was not right and that they were family, that if you from New Orleans, he said he was from New Orleans, but that he was stationed, that he was living out here in Houston, and that she would have contact with this man when she come back and forth from New Orleans. And the man had said, this is my number, I'm not trying to hit on you, but in case you need something, I'll help you pay for whatever you need. And then the man looked at my stomach and said, and I can help you get rid of that baby if you don't want to keep it, and help you get some money. And I said, no, I want to keep it. And I knew that he was trying to set me up to just go through with some sort of abortion while they lie and say that I was not pregnant. And I said, no, I'm gonna keep it. So I went in the room with this woman, and I stayed there making videos trying to hurry up and put out the information. And she notified me about the extension of FEMA before it was time to leave, and then told me that I could not stay, but that it was fraudulent. And God told me that I needed to report that it was fraudulent and that she lied. And it hurts me as a mother to know that you're bringing people from New Orleans and giving them giving them hotels for free, but you're leaving a pregnant black woman outside and have been doing this since the jail, and they doing it for a reason, because they have intentions to harm the child that is in my body. They want it dead, and they threaten to rape Melby, my son, and I'm smoking the blacks to try to keep from protecting him the best way that I know how. So the only thing I can do as a mother is sit here and I reported Cynthia to CPS from this location. So they erased that I reported her to CPS, and they finna try to cut this video off. And I have the storage in my phone. I don't got no other videos. So I left around 12 noon from the location, and the woman was trying to hurry and get me out the room, because the first day I was recording telling that what she was doing to put me out in that condition with her knowing I'm pregnant. She tried to lure me to New Orleans, and God said I needed to be here because this is where they threatened to rape my baby, and the only person that's offering me a place to stay is in New Orleans. And she said I could come there to New Orleans, but they threatened to rape my baby here, so they trying to keep me from the location where they threatened to rape my child. And so I left the location, and the woman stayed and made sure that I left the room. And I left, and I walked down to this area, and I went to this Phillips 66, and I called CPS while my phone was on like 7%. And I gave her Tracy Gilbert's information, Ingrid Chandler, the woman that was representing me on these criminal charges for protecting myself. And I gave her Cynthia and Joseph's information, and I gave her Austin's information, everybody that threatened to rape my child. And I told her that they did witchcraft, and I told her that it was about a shooting, and I told her that they told me directly during doing witchcraft, and she didn't really want to take the report. Her name was Tammy, and she started asking me questions like, is she his adopted? Did she adopt him? I said, no, it's not legally binding because they falsified court documents to get custody of my child and stole my child's documents out of my home while I was incarcerated for protecting myself. And while I was incarcerated, they lied and threatened to rape my child. child while I was incarcerated. And I said, you need this judge's information. And she tried not to get Tracy Gilbert's information and assigned a caseworker. And they're going to try to lie for the Ku Klux Klan. They're going to have the entire CPS trying to lie for this Ku Klux Klan and say that Cynthia never threatened to rape my baby. And so they've been setting me up on the streets from the time that I was released from the jail, refusing to allow me into shelters in this condition. And I done carried the baby for 36 months and it's still alive. So I called CPS and I made a video showing that I did report her I sat down on the side of this Phillips 66 and called CPS because I have told everybody what they did and everybody is trying to set me up. So I'm like, I'm gonna just go ahead and report you to Child Protective Services, even though I know they already are set up to lie. They already got CPS workers set up to try to have me murdered, to try to cover up that they threatened to do this to my child. So I know what I'm dealing with, but as a mother, I need to report it to as many people as possible. And so they cut the video, they erased this video out of my phone.